And we are back. What's up, y'all? We are finally back for season 3. I missed you. I heard a bunch of wonderful things about you. You sent some emails. We chatted. I saw you at some parties. I'm so grateful to be back. And we're coming out the gates hot. Today on Brown Enough, I am joined by the incomparable Vico Ortiz, actor, activist, drag king, and joyful disruptor. From swashbuckling on screen to breaking binaries in life, Vico is redefining what it means to take up space with authenticity, courage, and play.
There was, in the 1950s, there was a La Ley de la Mordaza. They were persecuting people, Puerto Ricans who had the flag shown anywhere or talked about independence or had any ideas around freedom. And now with everything that's happening with the current administration and the ICE raids and all that stuff, I'm seeing a lot of people being surprised by the U.S. and I'm like, nah, this has been going on for a while. It's been going on for a while.
In this episode, we get into Puerto Rico, polyamory, pure awareness, and the journeys that we have both taken. Okay, let's do it. Why those two?
I was trying to find a mix of something, an essential oil that my mom had gifted me years ago, and I couldn't find the same. But then in the mix of those two, I was like, oh, I'm getting a little bit of flower and a little bit of more earth tones. So I was like, this is perfect. And so ever since, I've been wearing that same scent.
Damn. Committed.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say damn. I'm also committed to my 2 cents.
And
I'm pretty locked in.
Yeah.
When you find it?
Because once you, then people associate you with that scent. And I love that. I love that if I wear that specifically, if someone, I had someone a few months ago be like, I knew you were coming because I could smell you. It was like, I was like, Vico's here. And I was like, yes, I love that. And there was a moment where I used to get those 2 oils at this, at the House of Intuition in Echo Park, and they stopped putting them. And I was like, no way. And I went there and I was like, hey, do you have those too? And she was like, nah, we're not selling them anymore. Can we try something different? And I was like, I'm not ready to change my scent. So I went online and found the actual source of where they make them and just order them in bulk.
The House of Intuition, where the receipt reads, your intuition led you here, which I always thought was a little insulting. Like, your intuition led you here to spend money or try and fix an issue you have.
Yep.
Because I would always go there when I needed, like, a candle that was, like, one of those manifesting candles. You know? Money or like
listen, that's why you gotta get like a botanica. You gotta find like one of those like local ones where like it's like there is something happening here, but we're going in, and they have all the herbs, all the candles, all the
there's still a couple in Echo Park, and they're
botanica
downtown.
Yeah, there's one next to Lowboy.
Put it on blast right now. You know the name of it?
Shit. I straight up, it's called Botanica. In my head, it's just like, it's the Botanica
next to Lowboy. Support it. We need to actually, we need to all support our Botanicas right now.
Yes, we do.
And we need to all light mad candles.
Yes,
like,
we
what happens
do.
if all of LA, what happens if just 1 million people, what happens if everyone listening to this just lit their sage at the same time? Would we cleanse a portion of the earth?
Something. Is this the one?
Which Botanica is it?
No, this is not it.
You just know it's next to Lowboy.
It's next to Lowboy. Yeah, it's straight up next to Lowboy.
Go to your Botanica next to Lowboy. Get some candles and some sage and some magic.
Indeed.
Who am I talking to?
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Vico Ortiz. I use they, them pronouns and ella en español. I am an actor, drag king, human being navigating this world.
You just got back from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico home now?
Puerto Rico has always been home, but is definitely where I've been living mostly this year. I've been coming on and off since 2021, but mostly LA as my base. But then as of January of this year, I decided to be there more so.
I've never been.
It's freaking beautiful.
I know.
You should come. And you should hit me up.
I gotta go.
Yeah. I have rooms. You can stay for free. So
I have to go.
Yeah. And I'll show you all the cool spots, all the delicious local restaurants. Have some mofongo, have some caldo de pollo, have some arroz con habichuela, gandules, pasteles,
I'll go to the plane right now.
Bacalaíto. Yes.
So I was asking you, Bad Bunny's doing this beautiful, what I think is beautiful, making people fly to Puerto Rico? Is it beautiful? Is it busy? Is it chaos? Is it all of the above?
A little bit of everything, of course. It's really awesome what he's doing, and I really love that he could have gone on tour all over the States, and he was like, nah, I'm going to do it here. And it's been so amazing to see so many artists from all over going to Bad Bunny's concert and performing for the concert, and just seeing everyone's like discourse about like, who is he inviting? Who is going to be performing this particular song or whatever that may be, especially the one I feel like the one that hits the chord the most, at least for me, is the song Lo que le pasó a Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing which artists sing that song is so impactful. Although I was very surprised that Luis Fonsi sang the song. I was like, okay, interesting. Are you starting to take a little stance on the political issues in Puerto Rico and the colony and all that jazz? But we'll see. But the day that I went to the concert, Anita Nazario was the one who sang it, and she is one of my all-time favorites.
Cool.
Very nostalgic. So seeing her singing that song, I got really emotional. The whole concert it's a love letter to Puerto Rico, and having people come from the outside is fantastic. But of course, there's a lot of issues within Puerto Rico, especially with Airbnbs and Act 22, and a lot of foreigners taking advantage of the tax evasion they can do in Puerto Rico, where people that are local do not benefit from that. So oftentimes, yes, maybe it brings economy, but most of these Airbnbs are owned by foreigners, not by locals.
That don't even live there.
Yeah. And so they take advantage of these things. Of course, there's still locals who do own Airbnbs, but it's such an iffy situation. It is nice to see foreigners also checking out local restaurants, but then they then it's like places that I used to go to where it was busy, but it wasn't super crazy. Now I'm like, oh man, I have to wait so long to get my usual, and there's a bunch of gringos who don't even speak Spanish, trying to be can I have some arroz con habichuelas or whatever. But yeah, it's a little bit of a mixed bag.
I think I'm working on a piece right now for a publication, and
I know you're on Substack.
Yeah.
I love it. I got to follow you back. I saw this morning. So
for this it's not for that. Maybe I'll share it on there, but it's for this organization called Zocalo. You know Zocalo?
I don't think I do.
Super cool.
Okay.
I can connect you later. They do these amazing events all over the world. Anyway, I'm writing a piece about the irony of the country we live in, where we say, I use the term bodies of culture, not bodies of color. I believe that what whiteness has always wanted is our culture, not our color.
Mm-hmm.
They love our arroz y habichuela. They love, they love the pho and the ramen.
Mm-hmm.
They love the music.
Mm-hmm.
They travel to Puerto Rico for the music.
Mm-hmm.
And in the same time, I know there are people in those crowds at the Bad Bunny concert who politically are voting against that body.
Yeah.
They're voting and using their money in ways to sort of harm that body. Mm-hmm. And the bodies that come from that place, the culture of that place.
Mm-hmm.
And we say, who belongs here? Make the walls tighter or larger, immigration this, immigration that. And then we go, you want to go get a burrito? Do you want to go, get some Korean food?
Yep.
And that irony. So it's this piece I'm writing, and I know those people are in those crowds. And
oh yeah, I feel like it just feels much more apparent now, but it's always been like that. For me, it's always interesting because aside from being from Puerto Rico, born and raised, I used to be an athlete as well. So I represented Puerto Rico and the island.
Well, I don't know that.
Back in the day, I was a fencer.
That's
yeah. I used to sword fight. That was my thing. And so I was part of the Puerto Rican national team of fencers, and I traveled a lot and represented the island. And I've always had a deep sense of pride from being from Puerto Rico and being able to have my flag being shown in these competitions and represent. And I know that there's a lot of Puerto Ricans who are so filled with pride with that too, and at the same time they want to become a state, or they want to assimilate fully to what the U.S. has been imposing us for hundreds of years. And it's so bizarre for me because I'm like, well, if we become a state, then the flag that I'll be representing in these competitions is not going to be the Puerto Rican flag anymore. And that feels so off to me. And similarly, you go to the Bad Bunny concert and there's so much call to action about being proud of being Puerto Rican and our culture and the way that we show up to the world and how we enrich it. And then you have people that are, with the pava and everything. They don't even know what the pava means, what jibaros are. And they vote against, they're voting for all of that to one way or another be erased. And it's so bizarre, but yeah.
Think that happens in this lifetime where it becomes
free?
Yeah.
My goodness. I would love for that to happen.
No, not love. Like we think, does it happen? I don't know.
It's rough because I see in Puerto Rico there are so many incredibly powerful communities that take care of each other so much more efficiently than the government has ever done. And at the same time,
which is where I think the world is going, but needs to go, is sort of micro communities of care.
Absolutely. It gets reflected. I've seen people take care of each other and their neighbors so much better than after Hurricane Maria, after all the earthquakes, after everything. The communities have been the ones that have been spearheading all the care and the nurture and the repair around all of this. And a lot of people that lead these communities, they know that Puerto Rico can be independent, but there's also so many other people who are so scared of what that could look like, because it's been hundreds of years of making us feel afraid.
Yeah.
Even one of the lyrics in Bad Bunny's one of the songs where he says they used to pursue us for showing our flag, so now that's why I'm putting it everywhere. I'm translating it roughly right now, but there was, in the 1950s, there was a La Ley de la Mordaza. They were persecuting people, Puerto Ricans, who had the flag shown anywhere or talked about independence or had any ideas around freedom. And this was the U.S. doing, right? They prosecuted us. They kidnapped us. And it's, we're seeing it over and over again. And now with everything that's happening with the current administration and the ICE raids and all that stuff, I'm seeing a lot of people being surprised by the U.S. And I'm like, nah, this has been going on for a while. It's been going on for a while.
Yeah, no surprises there.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you are a fencer.
Yes.
And then when does art find your life?
Where does art find my life? I feel that all the time.
No, like after fencing. Like
I was like all the time. We can philosophize about this.
You can also answer that too, yeah. But
when did art find my life? Since the beginning, since maybe this is TMI, since conception. But my parents are both actors in Puerto Rico as well, and since before being born, it's been in my bloodline, and I always loved performing. I always loved storytelling. I've always been very mesmerized and in awe of art, any form of it, whether it's performing on stage or on film or TV or makeup or dresses or ethnography, like every single aspect of telling a story, whatever form it is, it's always been fascinating to me. And I always knew I was going to do it. Like, I don't think I have a memory of me ever questioning if I was ever going to be an artist. There were other things I wanted to do. Like, there was a moment where I wanted to be a veterinarian while also being an actor. I was like, I'll be a veterinarian in the day and an actor in the night. And I also was really drawn into physics and astronomy. And then I realized I had to know math. And I was like, just kidding. I love the theology of it, but I don't love the math part. But always the underline has always been being a performer, even in my fencing days. because I knew that fencing could lead to stunt work, could lead to storytelling through body, right? Not
And
if
fencing has like a performative quality.
Oh, absolutely does. Absolutely it does. Yes, and I loved it. I think that once I began to feel disenamored with fencing is when it became very like it had a goal about like always winning, and I had to like
For you.
like my coaches and everybody was like, well, you got to do this and you got to do this and this is the thing and you should da 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 da. And then I kind of lost the fun of it, the magic of it, the performance of it, and they were very like, you got to be serious, you got to be serious, and I'm like, I like being silly on the piste. I like being able to tell a story and make it very like David and Goliath, because I've always been little, and so my coach was like, you should like bulk up and like have all these like, and I was like, I can't do it, man. That's not, my body was not built for that. But I loved being able to be sneaky and I loved getting people riled up. Like I loved getting the opponent getting like very aggressive, because then they would make choices that were very urgent and like out of fury, and I would just like do little sneak attacks to, put them off balance.
What's the fencing lesson to moving through life? Like what has fencing taught you about, conquering life or being sneaky in life or whatever that is?
Yeah. More than anything, I think fencing really supported my discipline. I think that having that commitment to myself, the training, the hours, the way in which I also treated the craft with respect to myself and the other opponent. While I would do a lot of goofy stuff, you always salute the person before and after. There's a desire to have an exciting bout with the other person, and I think there's a lot of respect with that. And I think similarly with life, when we have that mutual respect to do something fun and exciting, and have the discipline to follow through, that's a good time. Yeah.
And there's I imagine the metaphor of, because you were saying you would rile up the other opponent so that they would do something aggressive, or right?
Yeah.
And that's a mistake. Like, right? That's what you're saying, is that them being aggressive is a mistake. And so there's something about, knowing when to strike, patience.
Yeah, it's very little, like the movements, especially because I was a saber fencer.
Versus a
foil or épée. There's three different weapons.
Got it.
And so saber is more slashy versus foil and épée are more pointy. And so pointy, slashy. And for saber, the target is from the hip all the way up, including your arms and your helmet. And so if people are attacking you, you want to make sure that you are not using big gestures with your hand, because this is also a target. So when people get really riled up and they get very like, they start doing this rather than like going from the center of their body to attack this way. So if they attack this way, that's more efficient. But if they get really riled up, they want to do this, which exposes this area. So then that's what I would do. I would get them riled up so that they would want to do this gesture, and then I would just like very sneakily from the other side, just like whoop, grab them from the wrist.
Sick. Your parents are like in love with your life now, I'm assuming, as artists.
Yes, they are. They're freaking wonderful, and being able to be in Puerto Rico and have them around more often has been such a beautiful blessing, truly. I recently performed a drag show in PR, fundraising for a friend who was getting gender-affirming care, and as I was preparing for the drag performance and kind of choreographing like what I wanted to do and like the ideas and the crafting and all of that, both of them got really excited and they wanted to be part of the process too. So you would see my dad like being like, "Oh, what about if you cut it with this, or what about this color, or what about that?" And then my mom being like watching me and directing me and giving me pointers on like, "Oh, if you want to do this more clowny thing or more clowny that." Cool. It was really, really fun.
Cool.
So it's been really sweet to have them around.
That's so special to have that shared language. Like my parents are amazing and they're the best, and I think they are clowns in their own right,
Yeah.
But not in a trained kind of like I can speak to this practice way, just in a like being loud Dominican Colombian people, like they are artists of life. They've built, a wonderful life, but that shared language with your family must be so special. Was it ever hard? Was it ever like, shut up, I don't need your advice right now?
Not really. Also because I left when I was 17, almost 18. So the second I finished high school, I was like, all right, I'm going to LA. So I'm rocking and rolling. And
LA was to act?
LA to act.
You
correct.
just knew like you were like 18.
Oh,
that's
from the
spot.
get-go. Oh yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, I knew I wanted to be a performer since always. And so in my head, I was like, the second I'm done with high school, I'm going out. I'm getting out of here. And not in a bad way. I wasn't upset about being home or anything. I just, in that moment, I knew that what I wanted to do was film and TV. And the place to do so was in Los Angeles. Some things have changed since then. And now I feel that my focus has been mostly in using art and performance as a way to heal and create spaces to be curious about ourselves and our humanity and explore that through storytelling. And that can be done anywhere. So I have some ideas for like next year that I'm really excited about to keep exploring that and keep nurturing that. But when I was 17, 18, I was like, LA is the way to go, yo, let's rock and roll. And so they've always been really supportive of that, which has been really nice. And they know all the ins and outs of the industry too, in terms of all the highs, all the lows. So I've been able to witness that with them as well as my parents, and know that in my journey in Los Angeles, I've seen that too. It's like, oh, sometimes you're like booking nonstop, and sometimes there's like quiet months. And what do you do in those times, right? How do you continue creating and exercising that muscle?
What do you do?
I paint a lot and I write a lot. I've been writing a lot more recently. I like gaslit myself into thinking that I was not a writer, and as of recently, I was like, no, I can write. So between that and painting, it's like what I do to transmute whatever is coming up.
In the quiet months, or in general now? Now it's
in
just
general
a part
now,
of the...
yeah, I love to do it. I feel like I'm always, and also doing drag performances. There's something about that. Even if there isn't a show coming up, I always have like a notepad of ideas, and I'm like looking at music and props and like things that I could do with costumes. And if I'm walking around to a thrift store, I'm like, ooh, these are great elements that could be used for something else. And then whenever the show comes up, or whenever, because I'm very much like, I just go to Instagram and I'm like, what's happening in this town? What's an event? Oh, can I just like go in there and DM them and be like, hey, can I do a drag performance here? All right, bet, let's go. So I'm like, fuck it, we ball, you know? I don't lose anything with trying or checking in or asking.
Oh, amen,
so,
yo.
Yeah.
Closed mouths don't get fed. And
Indeed.
worst thing someone says to you is no.
Exactly. And we hear it all the time. We're getting rejected all the time.
Well, that came up in my meditation this morning, and I don't know why. Not in a sad, not in a happy way. Just in a like, what was I thinking about? But I was like, man, the amount of times I've had no said to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I think it was? I was listening to Ram Dass speak about awareness,
and
what we are is. We're gonna get far out for a sec. What we are is awareness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna period. Okay, what we are is awareness. Awareness is the sky. Sky with no clouds. Clouds come by, it's a thought. When we think we are that cloud, we have caused violence to ourselves and to others.
Oof.
Because then there's another cloud, and then another cloud.
Mm.
We forget that we are awareness.
Mm.
I think I was thinking of no's as clouds. When we think we are the no cloud, we cause violence to ourselves and we cause violence to others.
Very much so.
And so you return to the sky.
Mm-hmm.
What Ram Dass says is like, it's as active of a meditation to just look at the sky for an hour and know that like awareness is sky, cloud is something you can't identify with. And then he said this line that like absolutely wrecked me. And he said, we were always free. We imprisoned ourselves.
Yep. Sounds about right. Yep. It's wild. And I love that imagery as well. It's really beautiful. I feel like the more, at least the last couple of years that I've been unshedding a lot of stuff, there's so much beauty in the parallels and the mirroring of nature and our own personal experience. And I feel that now more than ever, whenever I go on a walk or go on like a little nature hike or go to the beach or go to a body of water or just like sit and just let myself be held by nature and just witness all the aligning contradictions that just happen, that's when I'm like able to witness that within myself too, and be like, right, like my body knows what it's doing. My body is telling me like, oh, I wanted to cry in this moment to release, and I cut it off, right? I'm like, why am I judging that moment? Or if I want to have a belly laugh, why am I like making it lower so that I don't disrupt other people or whatever that may be, right? And nature is that. Nature is chaos and beauty and contradiction and alignment, and it's all happening at the same time, and it's free. It's just lets itself be. And like you said, you know, we were born free, and then we shut ourselves down. We put all these things. We like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and we stopped allowing ourselves to just exist.
Is there something about your spending more time in Puerto Rico that is related to this? Like, I have this, I think many people who live in LA have a love, hate feels aggressive, like love, less lovey relationship with Los Angeles. It at times can feel like a very, I feel like Los Angeles has a lot of people who wish they're not who they want to be yet. And that energy is pervasive. You know, like it's a town built on people's dreams, which is beautiful and frightening. Because it's a bunch of people who wish they were something else. And so was Puerto Rico a way to get closer to the body, closer to what you are?
You know what's wild? Actually, what's allowed me to get closer to my body and my understanding of my own humanity has been polyamory. Yeah. But then it just so happens that I've been in Puerto Rico much more, and in that same journey of figuring out the ways in which I've molded myself in the past to be in right relationship with other people, but not in right relationship with myself. It also mirrors into, for example, the industry, right? All the ways in which we mold ourselves to be in right relationship, to be who we want to be based on like what the industry tells you to be. But then you're not in right relationship with yourself. You're abandoning yourself and your needs around that. And we are okay with breadcrumbs. We're okay with rejection. We're okay with being, given a little something so we can stay there long enough and experience those highs that we experience, and then like get dropped down to some gnarly lows, which is the same as a toxic relationship. You get breadcrumbs and you just get enough to get excited, and then like you get an amazing date and you're like, oh my gosh, this person is in love with me, and all of a sudden they ghost you for like a couple months, and you're like, huh, okay, but then they send you a text being like, hey, you up? And you're like, okay, well maybe, okay, yeah, let's go. And so I feel that polyamory really began to give me the access to witness these mirrors and these parallels and the ways in which I have abandoned myself in order to be in this society, right? And it's happened in little ways too. When I began exploring my sexuality and then my gender, and then I begin to see that, the same way that I've been suppressing my masculinity because I'm supposed to be feminine, then I began suppressing my femininity in order to like be more masculine, depending on like what society thinks. But then I'm always suppressing a part of myself rather than just letting them be. And in drag, when I began performing as a drag king, all of those shoulds and shouldn'ts got taken away, and I was just letting myself be. And I was like, interesting. Why am I not doing that in my day-to-day? And then when I began to trickle that down, it started to mirror itself in my emotional experience. Oh, when I am supposed to be happy, I'm not allowing myself to hold space for feeling sad. If I'm supposed to be in love, then I am not allowing myself to, I'm suppressing grieving because I'm not supposed to be doing those two things at the same time. And so I was always morphing and compressing and shifting and changing in order to like have the one experience, when reality we're complex, contradictory, expansive human beings that can hold multiple things at the same time. And then in polyamory, I was like, oh shit, I can be deeply in love with someone and experience complete heartbreak with another at the same time. And it began to then peel away all the ways in which I was like suppressing parts of me and really expanding into holding space for multiple contradictory emotions, or contradictory because they blend each other, right? And they inform each other. They allow you to understand what your needs are, what your boundaries are, what your care looks like. And not just within yourself, because then once that starts to happen, then you can see it with other people too, right? Like, you can be really hurt by something I did that I didn't hurt intentionally, and I can still hold space for that hurt and validate your hurt. It doesn't make me a terrible person. So before, I was like, no, I can't do anything bad. I can't make mistakes because that makes me a terrible person. And I would want to pursue perfectionism in polyamory. That doesn't happen. That's impossible. We're not perfect. We're human beings. We will make mistakes. And then as I began to deconstruct all these things, then I was like, oh, if I did something that hurt someone, I can validate that experience and still also like not bleed that into like I'm a terrible person. So holding space for multiple things at the same time. And similarly, if I get hurt by someone that I love, able to be like, I know you didn't intend to like do this and it still hurt me. So I don't have to like, because in the past I'd be like, oh, this hurt me, but I know they didn't do it intentionally, so I'm going to shut it down. It doesn't matter. But then that shit starts to build up. So being able to be really vulnerable and be like, hey, like this happened. I know you didn't intend to do that, but I'm just sharing my experience. And being able to be held in those like moments, life-changing. And now I see it in nature and I'm like, ah, my God.
I love this so much. I do think of our age of social media where people, they have to condense this enormity you're speaking of, this enormity into a box, into a bio. Into how many words for Instagram? 35 or, your 100 for Twitter. Like you have to condense your enormity into actor, into writer, into essayist, into mother. That's a role, into father, into partner, into husband, into friend, into lover, or I am therapist of this, right? Like our enormity, we have to find our way and we perform that way. And I think that's really dangerous. I think it's not exciting. I think it's dangerous. I think that's how you have so much division and violence and hate and lack of kindness because if you are a white supremacist, you have to be white supremacist by all cost. And I know deep down inside there's like love in them too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But they're holding on to their role so hard. They're holding on to the role so hard.
I agree with you with that. I feel like that's like what I see those like micro to macro moments and I'm like, why is there so much like hate and violence? And it's because of that like suppression that what you said.
Someone reached out to me and they wanted to offer me this wonderful opportunity to like do this thing with this organization that wanted content people or creators to do content about politics, but for the left, because the right is so good at having their talking heads, the left doesn't have cool talking heads. And I said, no, because then I would have to engender more hate I would have to play the role of the left who engenders more hating on the right. And I can disagree with them, but I don't want to constantly engender the idea that, like that's my character now. Now I have to play this character. And I guess what I'm hearing from you is this less performance-filled life. Where I'm not a single character. I think that's what this podcast and Brown Enough really engenders. That's why I use the word brown, is because we do live in a white-black world. We do live in a he-she world. We do live in a this-that world. And I think there's much more excitement, courage, love, vulnerability in the middle, in the brown space.
Oh, yeah.
When I discovered, as this term started to reach the masses, God bless, they, them, I thought, so beautiful you could be more than one thing. Like, to me, that felt expansive. That's cool. Like,
absolutely.
Take up space even more.
Absolutely. And it goes for everyone. I mean, I feel like one of my favorite things about my parents in these conversations around they them and ella in español, because they them existed as a singular pronoun for a while, but then it got used mostly for like trans and non-binary people. But ella is a new thing, right? Mm-hmm. Ella is technically a neo-pronoun in Spanish. It's new. It didn't exist before. The article le, the termination of a word as opposed to o or a. And I have a presentation happening with this next a couple of weeks because I'm so fascinated by language, right? And how it's an extension of ourselves, but also informs how we have been relating to each other and our own inner world and the environment, right? And when I began to use ella in español, a lot of people were really angry, more so than in English. And I was like, interesting. I want to dig a little deeper in this. Why is it so upsetting? Because folks were just like, you can't just make up words, like you're ruining the language. And I'm like,
we did was make up words.
We make up words all the time.
Literally what language is.
Exactly. I was like, why? Like, why is it so upsetting? Because like, exactly, we're making up words all the time. And then I noticed, oh, hold up. Spanish, not only is it an incredible binary language, it also favors the masculine experience as the one that holds the power,
Latinos
the one that holds
the masculine experience.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like for example, words like el universo, el mundo, el poder, el edificio, all of these are masculine articles, right? And masculine words. But then when you are thinking of like more feminine words, they're usually associated with something more demure, or like la fragilidad, la casa, la sensibilidad. These are, feminine articles, right? And like even la casa, where the wife is supposed to, but then el edificio is where the man is supposed to go to work, right? So I begin to see, because these things are this, ella, le, disrupts this structure of binary thinking, not just with the lo, la, or whatever. It also like it messes up with all this. And part of my activism around inclusive language in Spanish is not just using ella and all that stuff. It's also mixing and matching the masculine associated words with feminine ones. So I love to say la universa or la munda or la procesa instead of el proceso, or momenta instead of momento. I like to mix and match and fuck around with the language to reflect the expansiveness and the playfulness that I have with my own inner world. But that's one of the things that I was like, oh, interesting. Like, and it could be for anyone, right? Like, one of the things that I talked to my parents about when I came out to them as non-binary is that I was like, all the gender constructs that are put upon us like affect all of us. And you can be a woman and be androgynous. You can be a man and be androgynous. You can be a non-binary person and be androgynous. You can be a woman that's masculine. You can be a man that's feminine. You can be whatever you want. It doesn't just apply to people who use they, them, right? And that's at least my personal goal. It's just like people realizing like, oh, I can do all of these things. I remember once I like painted my nails for something, and I had like a tie and like a tux and whatever, and I put photos on Instagram, and then I had a FaceTime with my aunt, and she was like, you painted your nails. And I was like, yeah? She was like, you are making my head. Because in her head, I was like, well, if I'm no longer a woman, then I'm not allowed to do these things anymore, right? But
she's like, you're frustrating me.
It's just like, what is going on? And I just thought it was so interesting. I'm like, oh, no, you can still do those things. If you want to paint your nails, you're more than welcome to. If you want to let your hair grow out, you're more than welcome to. If you want to wear heels, please do. Just do what makes you feel good.
Yeah, we are still very much trapped in small thinking. Like it's equanimity is the word in Buddhism that I think people think means like equal, like I'm chill. But equanimity really means is vessel. It's a container, and our container is pretty small. And then only through life and experience does it get wider. And the wider your container is, the more you can be, and the more you can hold, and the more you can understand. And then eventually, I guess enlightenment is the container is so wide, you're the whole world. So you're every gender, and you're every mother, and you're every father, but you're also like every piece of shit and every holy thing.
Absolutely.
Your whole life is sacred and means nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're just this large vessel.
Like you said, we are awareness. That awareness is that expansiveness of just like, it can be all. And the second there's a cloud and then you focus on just that one, then you're repressing everything else that can be. We're in alignment. We're talking about, I love that we're talking about very similar things, but like in different like metaphors. I'm just like, right, yeah.
It's all just one metaphor,
We
We all just want to be free.
this.
People want to be free.
Exactly.
And I think we want it now, whether you're a state or a colony or a country or a person being in your house or, someone who loves someone and wants to love someone else. Like we all just want to be free and maybe we're not forgetting it. Maybe we're just not naming it enough, and we need to name it. I know this word liberation gets used a lot. Mm-hmm. I use it because it comes from my teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh. But what Thich Nhat Hanh says is it's engaged liberation. Like you have to be engaged. You have to take it to the laboratory of your life. Mm-hmm. You can't just talk about it or read books about it. Like,
yep.
At times you need to fight about it. At times you need to cry about it. You need to
Yep.
You need to be engaged. You
absolutely have to. I feel like I recently, well, not so recently anymore, but within polyamory, right? I learned how valuable it is to heal in relationship with each other. Because like what you said, in theory, I can be single and heal all I want on my own and never be triggered and never have to deal with conflict with anybody else and just be on my own, call it a day.
Duh, and I know it.
The second you're relating to somebody, shit starts to come up. And it's so beautiful when you meet other people who want to witness you in that and you want to witness them in that process as well. And yeah, like I recently, went through.
I think it's why relationships exist.
They have to. They are mirrors. Like that's why we were talking about it earlier. Like I feel like we're all mirrors to each other, and not just people, but nature. And when we see these things like in correlation to ourselves in our own inner world, that expands that awareness. When clouds come up, and you have to acknowledge, the cloud came up, and now I'm focusing on this. How do then I release this cloud within myself?
And hopefully you have someone in your life who tells you you're not that cloud.
Exactly. Hopefully.
Like to quote Ram Dass again, he says we're all just walking each other home.
I love that.
That's the only thing we're here for.
I love that.
Is to walk each other home. And so thank you for walking me home, he always says. Everyone.
I love that. That's really beautiful. I feel like it also, in the healing journey, right, oftentimes that coming home is like coming back to your like childhood self and that sense of playfulness and that sense of wonder, that awareness that we were born with, and then clouds come up and things come up and you start
roles and characters.
Oh no, this stuff, and then you're like, wait, hold up, and then as you start the healing and witnessing those clouds and saying thank you, you did your job for what it was. I don't need you anymore. Releasing this, then you go back to that home base. You get walked home, or you walk yourself home with other people and go back to that childhood self that is just like this expansive sense of wonder that doesn't judge or doesn't shame you or blame you for doing things. And I think that's a really beautiful image.
Does polyamory influence I'm sure it does, because I think art is everything. Art is the spiritual practice. But what is the relationship to that as an artist? I guess maybe I am polyamorous in my art. Like, I deeply love the written word, and I deeply love someone else's written word. And I just I don't paint, but I love it. I read a comic book the other day. Like, what is your relationship to that? Or is that what it is to you? Is polyamory it's not actually just about the relationship of human to human. It's relationship to life.
It's everything. It's for me, it definitely feeds into my art as well. And how I behave in community, like with my friends, with my family. It's really giving me perspective on how to repair, how to care, how to advocate also for what my needs are, how to listen and be intentional and be able to hold multiple truths at the same time. And it impacts my art, it impacts my writing, and It impacts the way that I explore art as well, because then you have like, well, it should be this, it should be that. Why do we keep saying it should, it should, it should? Why don't we just like try something and see where that takes us? And it doesn't need to be the same, right? Because of course there's various ways to explore art. And even in writing, there's essay, there's poetry, there's monologue, there's theater, there's TV, there's comedy, there's drama. There's various ways to explore writing, and you can tell a same story from various ways. And even you can tell a story but using dance instead, or you can tell the same story using lyrics instead, or just music, or whatever that may be. And I think that polyamory gave me that like, oh, I want to tell stories. I don't always have to tell stories this one way. I can tell them in these other types of ways. And I can learn something new from each of those perspectives, even if it's the same story, and hold space for those things that come up in different ways because of that. And similarly with like work relationships, you know, like I love collaborating. I love working with other artists, and polyamory gave me that experience of just like, oh, we can approach things differently. How can we delegate? How can we be like, hey, this thing that you did, I love. This really works for me. I'm advocating for this. I need this for the next time, whatever that may be.
What are some, I don't know, tips and tricks for communicating in that way, either with yourself or with others?
I feel like what's really helped me is having the physical imagery of curiosity versus judgment. So if I approach a conversation with curiosity, I'm leaning in. If I approach a conversation with judgment, I'm leaning back. I am judging, I'm criticizing, I'm separating myself from that experience rather than being curious and being like, what's up with this? I want to know more about that. And that's what's helped me kind of be like, oh, if something happens that made me uncomfortable, how can I be vulnerable? And that vulnerability is curiosity with myself, with my own inner experience, even if it hurt, even if it felt great, whatever that may be. If I judge it and start criticizing, then I am shutting my own vulnerability down because I'm either afraid of being rejected or being hurt further. And I'm also not giving space for the other person's experience as well. So I think that's been like the biggest thing. And that could be across the board in any relationship, like work, family, friends, lovers, whatever.
Curiosity, not judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Can I stay curious? Or am I curious? Asking the question. Is this a curious question or curious relationship? Yeah.
Like, for example, back in the day, I used to have a hard time voicing that I experienced jealousy because I was like judging myself. I'm like, well, sometimes I'm like, I'm judging myself. I'm like judging myself. I'm like, what do you mean I feel jealous? Like I have nothing to be jealous about, right? And that comes with that like urgency, right? And that like, well, no, I can't do that. I can't feel that. And then I'm judging myself in that experience. And then if someone else comes with, hey, this made me feel jealous, I'm also judging them from their experience. Because if I didn't let myself feel jealous, how are you letting yourself feel jealous? Which also going to the macro, right? What you were saying earlier with the left and the right? The reason why there's so much violence and hate is because we are repressing those things that make us vulnerable, right? And so the same way that I don't let myself be jealous, then why are you jealous? Because I didn't do that. I suppressed it. Why are you not suppressing it so that we can have an easier relationship? No. And curiosity. If I feel jealous, I'm like, okay, what's happening here? Why am I feeling jealous right now? What's going on? Is there an actual threat happening right now? Processing that, asking myself the question, and then, open that dialogue. Hey, this happened, and it really surprised me that I felt jealous, and I feel like my needs are da-da-da-da-da, or whatever that may be. Or maybe I don't have a need. I just needed to share that experience and not hide it from you, because oftentimes we hide those things that make us feel uncomfortable.
We hide it from ourselves.
Like,
I breathe easier watching you say, I'm feeling jealous right now. I wonder why.
It's just like, interesting. And then when you start peeling away those and you start practicing no longer judging yourself or shaming yourself, because shame feeds itself in isolation. And we hide constantly. We're hiding constantly, and we breed that shame within ourselves, and that's why we also shame other people. It's like, why are they feeling like that? Like, I didn't. I suppressed mine. Why are you not suppressing yours? But when we start expanding that and opening that up and being like, hey, this thing that happened like made me feel this way, and I know you didn't intend for doing that, and then it becomes much more of a comfortable dialogue. It is uncomfortable in the beginning because it's something new. Like, I remember the first times I began to talk about these things like freely and openly, I was like, you're seeing too much of my humanity right now, and this is so uncomfortable. I want to be perfect. And then I released that, like that white knuckling, right? And then all of a sudden things started to flow. And I was able to hold space for other people's experiences as well, whether they were jealous or experiencing compersion or whatever that may be. And you feel
Compersion?
Compersion meaning is the experiencing joy and excitement for someone else going with someone else. It's kind of like if you're both having a meal and you're like enjoying your plate of food. I don't want to taste your plate of food, but I love that you're loving it, you know?
Compersion.
So that's kind of like that.
I love that you're loving it.
I love that you're loving it. But
that's a highly evolved feeling, I think. Like, I tell this story all the time about a friend of mine, Bere, and she had booked this pilot the year before and it didn't go. They shot the pilot, didn't go. And then the next year she was up for a pilot and she didn't get it. Someone else got it. And she said, I was so happy knowing that someone was going to get the phone call I once got.
Yeah.
And that they were going to feel so good. And I believed her. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, that's wild. But I believed her that she was like, could see them getting the phone call that she once got, you know, that many of us have gotten, and it feels good to get that phone call. And she was happy that someone else was getting that call. And I thought, that's so beautiful. That's like a high.
Hells yeah. Hells yeah.
Highly evolved place.
And we're not taught that. We're taught to compete against each other.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
taught to like, we have to be like, we got to be the first, we got to be the one, we got to be the. And so it makes it harder for us to then experience these like moments of joy, like genuine connection of just like, oh my gosh, this person got to experience the same thing I got to experience. Or I haven't gotten to experience it yet, but I'm so glad they got to do it.
Well, that's what keeps me involved in my spiritual practice is one where flowers get to bloom for me more consistently when I'm less selfish. When my life is less me, I can celebrate more things more consistently. When I am me, I can't celebrate as many things. Like being selfish is limiting on my joy. It's like a limit capacitor. Like it has its limit. And then removing the knob, there are flowers blooming everywhere.
Absolutely. And it has, I have that imagery of when you said that, it's that hoarding, which we see it collectively as well. It's just like, well, it's got to be this, that, me, that. And speaking about boxes and putting all that stuff, all of a sudden you do this and you're holding on to this that's like yours. But then, like you said, when you like release all of that,
so much effort to hold
so
shit.
much. And then when you release all that and then you get to like see everything where it goes, it's like, oh shit. Then you open up and then you have all this like beautiful like experience.
Almost a lot. It's also a lot of effort to hold our character.
My God, yes.
You know, that whole like thing we were talking about. To be Chris who does this and lives like this and this is his action is so much effort to keep the box contained. Yep. And then when you get rid of the box, it's like, oh, my shoulders can drop a little bit.
Exactly. But goddamn, so many boxes are we holding? And when you like finally like let go of several, then there's like another one that they're like, well, here's another box, and you're like, wait, why am I holding this again? Why? Who sent this? Let me let go. I love that imagery, though. I love that of just how we're so tense and holding on to these things.
Yeah, the giant shake weight. We're holding like 70 million shake weight.
Absolutely. My God, our muscles are spasming.
What's your trick to letting go?
Oh, God. And
then we're going to wrap it.
Oh, fantastic. I don't know if it's necessarily a trick to letting go. I feel like one of my most recent practices has been allowing for my emotions to be when they're happening. I used to be like, oh, I'm about to cry. Let me wait until I'm in the car by myself and like do that there. I feel like practice of letting go is like, oh, if I'm feeling something coming up, let me just let it happen. Why am I holding on to that box of like I shouldn't be crying in public? I'm saying this specifically because I'm like, that's one of the hardest things for me to do. And there's that like imagery of like, well, I can't be seen looking vulnerable. And as of recently, I've been letting go of that and kind of like in my morning practices, I just like sit down and, you know, just touch the earth and just be like, you know, imagining the earth holding me and the wind and the breeze, whatever that may be. And just if something comes up, I let it come out. If I want to scream, I scream. If I just want to like breathe, I breathe. I just return to the body and just like witness what's coming up and allow it to happen rather than like, ooh, no. And that's been slowly but surely bleeding down into my day-to-day throughout the day. So if like I'm doing something or having a conversation and I'm feeling like, ooh, I'm feeling very moved by this right now, I just let it happen rather than like, ooh, I can't do that right now. So, yeah.
Amen. Any questions for me?
So many. I mean, I feel like, I guess question for you.
Your best one.
You've seen me.
Many stages.
How's it been like for you?
To watch you?
Yeah.
Evolve?
And how has that informed you as well?
God bless you've evolved. It's so boring if you didn't, you know? Like, I think that's so exciting to me. You're listening. And if you have the courage to listen, then it gives me the courage to listen. And if you have the courage to take risk, then it gives me the courage to take risk, right? Like I am a reflection of the people around me. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I bow down to you for your evolution and for listening to your evolution and your spirit and I, you know, run this back in 20 years and it'll be like, where will you be then?
And
you
likewise,
know? Where will we be? We don't know.
Here's to being mirrors of each other and allowing ourselves to see the awareness in me and the awareness in you.
I am so on board.
Hells yeah. So good to see you. Gracias.
And that's our time. That's episode 1, y'all. Guess what? We'll be back next week, and then the week after that, and then the week after that. And I cannot wait to be in community with you. All right. As always, send us an email if you want to chat. Hit me up with a DM. Much love. Peace.